What's up, YouTubers? We're here at Scrapyard in Charlotte, North Carolina. We'll be showing you what I threw pretty much all season and what I plan to continue to throw through the 2023 season. We'll start with putters. This year was my first year really getting into putters and throwing them off the tee. I used to be almost mid-range only off the tee. We'll start with my throwing putters, my favorite of which is the Maiden. This is the Tournament X Maiden, the Matty O Special. And then we have a super beat up, extremely flippy Maiden. This is pretty much used for whenever I'm trying to throw in a little upshot or even sometimes little turny, spinny putts. The newest addition to my bag, for the most part, is the Shield. I replaced throwing premium Judges with this. The overstability and the easy replacements, they all fly the same. It's an overstable, you can really torque on them to the right and they're just gonna hold the line and finish to the left. It's one of the best discs. Before we get into the putting putters, I'm not sure what you can really classify these as, but these are my utility upshot, forehand, anything short. Anytime I'm trying to put it really close to the basket, I'll use this Harp. Thank you, Jake Lauber, for the nice bacon top, I believe you'd call it. It's just warped. It still flies true. It holds the line. I like to use it for more of the turnover right to left shots, but if I ever need something a little straighter than a slammer, I'll go with the Harp. Next up is the Slammer, the Gur Slammer. As you can see on the back, it's the Gur Slammer. This has been my workhorse all season. Anytime I want to get down on a knee and throw a little 150-foot flick, I use it whenever I'm trying to make a shot from distance. It's just so trustworthy. It does the same thing almost every single time you throw it. Wind will hardly affect this thing, and it almost never goes too far. It doesn't really skip away. It kind of hits and sits. It's amazing disc. Putting putters. Just recently switched. As most of you know, I've been putting with Hopes since my change. Now we got Judges. What a difference these things make. They are way more dependable in the wind. They just have a little bit better feel in my hand. I wasn't sure. I thought the bead on these was going to be too big for me, but it's worked out, and I'm excited to see what next year has in store with Judges. Next, we will move on to mid-ranges. I don't have very many. As you guys can tell, I kind of am a fairway and driver guy, especially with the way the Pro Tour is going. It's just, you don't need a lot of the shorter shots. First up, most overstable, the Community Lounge Justice. I'm not exactly sure what plastic this is, but this thing is beefy. It hasn't beat in at all. It still just goes very hard right to left for backhands and left to right for sidearms. Next, I have recently replaced the EMAC Truths with these bad boys, the Connor O'Reilly Compasses. I'm not sure what it is about them. They have the slight dome up to the top. They fly so true. They're so straight, a little angle. You can really work these any way you want, and it's just the basic straight flying mid-range. And I'm really excited to see what happens when these things start getting a little bit more beat and will flip up on their own. The newest addition to the bag is the Bounty, the Lucid Bounty. I've been using this for flip up to over shots and just anything that turns left to right. Okay, to fairway drivers. We'll start with my favorite, the Felon. I have 4 of them in the bag, my most used disc by far. Start with the straightest. We have the Orbit Felon. This one was given to me by Tanner in J-Town. He dyed it up for me. This thing's been the workhorse all year. Anytime I need a straight shot, if I throw this super hard, it's gotten beat up to where it will actually turn on its own, but it still always finishes. It still has that natural Felon flight. I love it for my flexy sidearms because I don't have to snap it as hard for it to move the right to left motion. It's definitely been my most used disc throughout the season. You can't just have a flippy orbit felon, so I have this new one. I use this for more of the overstable distance shots. If I give it a little bit of anhyzer, I can get these out to 450 feet sometimes. It's insane what these felons can do. We got Gannon on the back. Shout out US champ. It's him being as tall as a tree. And then my favorite felons, the Gavin Rathbun Tour Series Hybrid X Felon. These have been just the absolute go-to for whenever there's wind, anytime I need a skip shot, an overstable shot. It's just, you can flex these as hard as you want, they'll always come back. They're just go-tos. Beefcakes, they'll always come flat and they'll always be overstable. Next up, these are only single molds that I have in my bag, so one of each. Starting with the flippiest, actually, the Valerie Vandal. I think this is in, I'm not really sure. Rollers, understable shots, anything that moves left to right, hard or in a hurry. Whenever I don't want to throw a disc in the woods too hard, I'm scared it kicks, I'll typically throw this, and even on my longer turnover sidearms, but mainly just a roller disc. Been a go-to all season. Next in stability, we have another Community Disc Golf Lounge disc. This is an Evader, a Lucid Evader. I got this at the very beginning of the year and it was an overstable disc for me then, but now as I get a little bit more speed and power back, this thing is a flipster. It's not quite as flippy as the Vandal, but it will definitely move hard left to right on its own without me, throwing it on the anhyzer. It's probably been one of the go-to woods discs for me. It's the Opto X Explorer. It just has the very flat felon feel, except without the flight of a felon. So the felon likes to move left when thrown backhand, to where the Explorer just wants to go straight, ride straight, and even maybe a little to the right if you really snap it and spin it. I do want to start working on just some regular Explorers, not the X plastic, just to see if I can get a little bit more carry out of them, but that's what the off season's for. Not really sure you can call this a fairway driver, but I'm going to. I think they're 10 speeds. It's the Lucid Ice Criminal from Team Idlewild. They are soft in your hand. They skip, but the soft feel of them really, I feel like, eats and bites at the ground a little bit better. If I ever need a little bit more stability than the Orbit Felon, I like to throw these. It goes just as far as the Orbit Felon, but it's kind of like the Tour Series Hybrid X Felon with the stability wise. So if I ever need like 70 to 80 more feet than one of the Hybrid X Felons, it's typically what the Criminal's for. Also, love it for water shots. I don't know why. I'm confident. I know what this disc is going to do every time. Not scared to lose this one. It's a great disc. Okay, and then last but not least, drivers. The Sparkle Lucid Raiders. I felt these my first time going to the warehouse at the beginning of the year, and it was just, I instantly fell in love with how they felt in my hand for a sidearm. Just perfect fit for my hand size, and they flip up all on their own and ride, but it won't just turn and burn ever. I love the stability of these. I also use it for very long range rollers because the rim is an overstable fast rim, so it'll just hold that cut the whole way and eventually finish. If you have more of these, leave it in the comments. I think this is my last one and I would love more, preferably the blue sparkles. This has been my absolute go-to driver all year. It's the only one that I have from the original drop, the Royal Rive. This thing has not changed at all. It's all dirty and beat up now, but still holds true. Whenever I need max distance, I'm going to the Rive, specifically the Orbit Rive. This is a much newer addition to the bag. I tried it out earlier in the year, but once I started getting some of the speed back, it just got too flippy. But now I'm really utilizing it and trusting it on the hyzer and to just pull right the whole entire way. It's kind of incorporating rollers, but I just prefer the Raider and how it rolls. Also a great sidearm disc. This one will move a little bit more right to left than the Raider will for me. So if I need a little bit of extra distance on my sidearm, been working this one in. Last but not least, we got the Disc Golf World Championship stilettos. These things are mean. They are so overstable. It will never hold to the right. It instantly wants to go left as soon as you release it. I can't even throw this thing more than 440 feet. I can probably throw my Felons further than I can throw this. It's super predictable in the wind, and it's just a beefcake. I have been using the Illinois Paratrooper all year. This one's already getting dirty again. This is my second one. I broke my first one. I love Illinois. I'm a Florida boy now, but Illinois at heart, always will be. Obviously, you need your big water bottle. Stainless steel, just in case the course doesn't have water bottles and just jugs. Ooh, left my rangefinder at home. Always need your birdie bag and your mini. Shout out to the Clash at the Dam for these sweet custom minis last year. We got a couple snacks in here and obviously the van key. Got to represent the dynamic disc towel. And just for those wet days, you know, you need the backup, so that's what this side has been for. Got the stretch bands. Got the brand new Tour Series cards that I got to give to my mom. And yeah, a couple more towels. That's about it. Oh, hand warmers. You never know when you'll need some hand warmers. We need to keep our hands warm, especially on the windy, rainy, cold days. I actually just used hand warmers for the first time this last weekend at the Down East Players Cup, but I'm glad they were in my bag. And that's gonna do it. Thank you guys for watching, and be on the lookout for my next videos. Thank you.